Right, welcome back to UAP Rant. In my previous episode, I was discussing James Clerk Maxwell's work and how his original treatise or work on four-space geometric potentials was removed from our modern electricity equations because he was linking four-dimensional space and stored electrical energy to kinetic energy in three-dimensional space or vector fields. So today I want to talk about a related area of that and talk about that in terms of another model that is related to how wormholes or interdimensional anomalies work, and that's the capacitor-induction model, which I think fits quite nicely both in terms of interdimensional anomalies and fits back to Maxwell's original work was four-space geometric potentials too. If we think of space as four-dimensional and electric, then we can apply this capacitor induction model not only to the ability to harness available energy in four-dimensional electric space, but also convert that to kinetic energy through a capacitor induction model. And there's two things I want to discuss. One is how that might work in terms of harnessing energy in a dimensional anomaly, and also how that might work in how a UAP would function to also harness and use that energy to generate a repulsive field around it to overcome inertia. So if we first go to the capacitor induction model and dimensional anomalies, it fits quite nicely with four space geometric potentials, because if we think of a wormhole or a dimensional anomaly as consisting of two components, one is the capacitor or the stored energy needed to open the wormhole, and one is the conversion of that into kinetic energy to maintain it open until the source of stored energy runs out and it diminishes and eventually closes. I'm basing this on some work I've been doing in the field for my research project on dimensional anomalies and orbs and rods that appear within that and are correlated with the electric field that's going on and magnetic field intensity. So that's where this capacitor induction model fits quite well with my research. So if you think about it, you've got this electric energy in four-dimensional space that gets stored up and stored up and stored up, and it's, if we think of space as electric, it's always there, and maybe it becomes concentrated in certain areas to do with planetary bodies and is made available as stored energy. Now, there is a mechanism by which that is released as kinetic energy in three-dimensional space. So if you think of four-space geometric potential energy, electrical as being stored and then stored to a certain level, which opens a dimensional anomaly, converts that energy into kinetic energy and makes it available both to open the portal and for objects to manifest. Now, I found that quite interesting because that if you think of, or if I think of my work, and I've got papers in review that I'm publishing on this, peer-reviewed journal papers. If you think of the orbs and rods I've been studying and the way they harness energy, there is a electrochemical model that fits with that in terms of harnessing this energy that's freed up in this dimensional anomaly and made available for these objects to overcome inertia. And the way I see it, and I've looked at the functional morphology and kinematics of these anomalous objects, is that they have two layers. They have an inner layer and they have an outer layer. And if you look at the electrochemical model and the capacitor induction model, I think they fit together quite nicely, because if you think of in between these two layers, you've got what acts as a dielectric. So you've got the center rod or sphere, and you've got the outer layer, and there's this dielectric in between. Now that enables a charge to be built up between the two layers, like a double capacitor in parallel, so that they can harness the available energy that's built up and then use that to overcome inertia. Now that fits quite well, and of course plasma is generated from the excitation of electrons or ionization of electrons, and you get this plasma around these objects, which I discuss in my journal papers as well. So I think you've got Maxwell's original work on four-space geometric potentials linked to three-space vector fields. You've got the capacitor-induction model, which I think fits quite well with dimensional anomalies and making available stored energy in four-dimensional space and converting it to kinetic and 3D space. And then you've got these objects that are manifesting in the infrared and visible light spectrum that seem to exist, but we can't see them because they're either cloaked or interdimensional and or cloaked. And so they're harnessing this energy in this portal that opens up, manifesting it in our physical space until that energy dissipates to such a level that the dimensional anomaly closes down between your electric space and our 3D physical space. And then, of course, the energy isn't available for these orbs and rods to harness it. So I'll leave it at that for now. That's my UAP rant for today, and we'll look forward to further discussion on various other topics as we move forward. So talk to you soon.